Good evening and welcome to this slightly delayed session of the F1 22 season by the House of Esports. We have had a whole number of technical issues already this evening with my fiber being down, us finding another host, and then EA just generally being completely terrible. We've had people dropping out of the lobby pretty much constantly, and yeah, we're just hoping that things go a little bit more to plan. We are already on track with the quality sessions, but I'm sure we are going to be getting quite a few people requesting re-invites just because of the fact that everything seems to be incredibly unstable this evening. We just saw Chicken Wing come out of the pits and immediately compromise Italian Legend's lap. So yeah, it looks like people might be experiencing a little bit of desync, either that or possibly Chicken Wing just didn't see Italian Legend on the racing line. But yeah, so we are on to obviously the event itself, and this is quali obviously around Baku. Once again, this is round 3 of the House of Esports F1 2022 League, and this is the Pro-Am category. So let's see what they can do as they head around the Baku City Street circuit. Just trying to get some of my telemetry up at the moment. With the lack of fiber, it's proving to be quite difficult. So I'm just trying to sort that out at the moment. When things stop fighting me. Alrighty. So yeah, as I said, we've had a couple of people drop out of the session. We saw, I think that was Braddles who dropped out just now. So yeah, the EA servers seem more unstable than usual. We saw Braddles drop out. I know Venant B also dropped out just now. Venant Burtis, he looks like he's back in and actually on lap at the moment, coming across the line now and gets a 142.9. So still some time to come. SF1 Phantom having a little bit of a challenge out in front by Big Boot. He is joining us at this weekend once again, so welcome back to him, and showing that he's got some pace, and SF1 Phantom is likely to have a little bit of a challenge this week, which we haven't seen him have in previous weeks. No reason, I will send you an invite now. There you are. Okay, cool. Invite sent. I am keeping an eye on the Twitch chat just for invites. Killswitch taking to the runoff. Where is that? Turn 2. So already people are making use of the runoff and not quite getting the spin turn right. The trick to the spin turn is don't lose all your momentum. If you spin up your rear tires while you're still moving forward, even if it's just a little bit, it actually helps quite a lot with the spin turn. So yeah, that's just a little trick that I found out with all my spins last night. Rattles, I see your request. I'm sending the invite now. You are not online, so you might have to restart your game before we'll be able to invite you. But yeah, this is, as I was saying, there are so many issues with the EA services as well, and this is not just specific to this lobby. We did have a couple of guys do a practice lobby before they joined us, and they both got booted at exactly the same time out of a lobby that included just them. So yeah, it seems like the EA servers are under strain for whatever reason, and so this is going to be a bit of a mess, I'm sure, even with it, well, especially with it being Baku. I'm sure we'll see a couple of people in the walls purely because of the game itself and the servers being so terrible. I still don't 100% understand why the servers need to be involved, considering, I mean, it's a peer-to-peer networking system. We should be connecting just to each other. We shouldn't need a server, and yet somehow the EA servers still managed to screw everything up. So yeah, that's a little annoying, but there it is. Just moments starting a lap on the soft tires in the Red Bull. Looks like he didn't get his tires entirely up to temperature before he started this lap, but they're getting there right now. Dumping his ERS. Obviously this is in a qualification mode, so that ERS is being dumped. It has been the ERS has theoretically been programmed so that it will use up the maximum amount that it possibly can through the course of the lap. And now going into the second sector, gets a decent first sector, 35 point, I didn't see what it was, but I'll check on the telemetry, a 35.659, so not the fastest first sector, but a decent one, and then invalidates into the castle section. That's unfortunate for him. So let's go have a look at DRS Wezo and see what he can do. Braddles, let me just while he is on an out lap, let's go see if you've come online again yet. No, still showing offline. So obviously that game taking a little while to boot up as DRS Wezo comes to the start finish line to start his lap. So again, tires not entirely up to temperature. I think that might be because of that incredibly long pit straight. While you're going in a straight line, you're not putting lateral load through the tires, and so they do get to cool. And because of the fact that it's such a long straight line, they do cool quite a bit. So DRS Wezo going into turn 3 and 4. Turn 4, obviously, where I had so many of my mishaps. Oh, and DRS Wezo almost having one of his own as he snaps the rear out. Goes into the turns at 5 and 6, the little chicane, and gets through there nice and quickly. Looked like he carried quite a bit of speed through the second apex, which is what you want to do, so that you can get a little bit of extra time down that weird little straight. Now into the very famous castle section, nice and wide on the entry to get out of the castle section. Doesn't look like he carried as much speed as he could have out of that final corner of that section. And now it's the long sweeping double left-hander and into turn 14, which is one of the most difficult corners on the track, I would say. Just because of the braking zone being as weird as it is and how easy it is to lock up there. And once you lock up, I mean, to try and get into the runoff there is incredibly difficult. Admire F1 going to the top of the time, so 140.731. So we have some good pace out in front, and DRS Wezo is coming down the line. He will be getting a tow, or should be getting a tow from the Haas ahead of him. Oh no, he goes to the inside, tries to shorten the track to the line, and goes up into 5th position. So not a bad lap by Wezo. Let's see, no reason is SF1 Phantom. Oh, that is a statement of intent. 140.213, 5/10 up from the next time. No reason going into 11th position. Not a great lap, but I think that may have been a second lap in a row, so his tires may not have been in the best condition. Just moment, looks like he is actually pushing. No, he's not pushing. Bigfoot has retired from the session, and that, oh, there it is, pushing a little bit too hard, probably catching the outside wall there, and his car is now destroyed. It'll poof out of existence very shortly. Moment coming into the pits, so he is without a time after that invalidation earlier on, but I was without a time because he's not in just yet. Let me see if I can invite him yet. No, still not showing online, so I wonder if load shedding possibly got hold of him. I know he was worried that load shedding might hit, so I wonder if that is exactly what happened with Braddles. So SF1 Phantom out in front, 5/10 ahead of Admire F1. Bigfoot is just behind him, 2 thousandths down, but with no possibility of getting any faster as with that crash. Let's just see what's going on. Okay, so Admire looks like he's just slowing down, getting out of the way, letting these guys get through. A very awkward spot to try and get out of the way of following cars. I'm not sure if he's getting ready for a lap. No, he does not look like he's getting ready for a lap. His ERS is quite low. It looks like he's drifting across the left. Or maybe not. Maybe he's trying to just recharge his ERS. No, there it is. There's the pit entry line. So Admire heading into the pits as well. Amir looks like he is about to start a lap, so let's follow Amir around on this next lap. So lap completed by Amir didn't take him up too far, so that's a little unfortunate for him. Just Moment looks like he is, yeah, currently on a lap, so we'll follow him around. Just trying to troubleshoot something just quickly, so that's why I went a little silent there. Looks like we've got a McLaren in the form of DRS Wezo off at turn 2, coming back onto the track. Looks like a Mercedes near him as well. I don't think that's going to be too much of an obstruction. I don't think the Mercedes was on a lap. But just Moment coming through into the castle section, and once again, Chicken Wing on the racing line. And you can see how much he is actually impeding Moment going through here. Is he on a lap? Let me see. He does look like he is on a lap. So, yeah, allowed to be there just because of the fact he is on a lap as well. But I'm sure Moment is going to be cursing because that looked like a pretty good lap, and he's now lost that lap to the AlphaTauri that he came across. So, just Moment coming across the line, 154.017, but I'm sure, as I said, that lap was heavily compromised. He is likely to be going straight ahead once again. Looks like he might have just enough fuel to get around this lap as well. So possibly overfueled his car a little bit, or didn't adjust the fuel as much. Chicken Wing retiring from the session, going through this corner here, and just Moment is going to find him. Luckily, not on the racing line this time. So Moment going through and getting underway. Chicken Wing actually doesn't look like his car is completely destroyed, so that was an intentional retirement on the track, in a very bad place as well. So yeah, not great, but there it is. Just Moment going through into the castle section now. He has to absolutely nail this. 14 seconds left in the session, so this is his only chance to get a decent lap, a representative lap on the board. Going into the final section now, or the final really technical section. The last bit is basically just a straight, even though we have seen someone retire there already. You do take it at pretty much full pelt. Ooh, a little bit of contact with the wall there, but doesn't destroy his wheels or tires, so he's managing to keep going, but a little bit of contact with the wall. Possibly the tires are not in their best condition. And heading through the final left, right, gets it nice and wide on the exit out of there, takes the fast right-hander. Again, you take that at absolutely full pelt. You try and straighten the line as much as possible, which is exactly why he did. It went all the way to the right there and then all the way to the left, and gets into 4th position. So it would have been incredible to see what he had on those fresh tires. But SF1 Phantom goes to the top of the times even further with a 1:39.7. That is an incredible time, and I'm sure everyone's going to be hard pressed to try and catch up with him. Obviously, Big Boot's lap there is from much earlier in the session, so I'm sure he's got some pace left in that car. But for now, SF1 Phantom, the absolute class of the field, all the way up by 8/10 of a second. So great lap by him. Destroyer gets a 5-place grid drop. I think that was for some sort of incident where he had contact with someone. I should be able to see it here. Destroyer collision with Just Moment. So not entirely sure what happened there. I'm sure we will find out about it later on. But yeah, Just Moment a little bit in the wars. And yeah, that is going to have compromised where he maybe felt where he should have been, but not a bad result in 5th position anyway in the Red Bull. Yeah, Admire, definitely not a bad position for you in P3. Looking forward to seeing what you can convert it into. Let's see if you guys can chase down SF1 Phantom. I believe. This is weird. This is very strange. Okay. Uh, Okay, so Braddles, obviously because that is an AI, it breaks all the rules, and they are off before I managed to even call it. And oh, looks like the Aston Martin there of Killswitch getting a massive snap of oversteer through turn 1 and losing a whole bunch of positions. Braddles, obviously out in front, we can ignore that. That's going to be taken over very quickly. DRS Wezo out actually in front, Admire in second. SRF1 Phantom, not a great start in third place at the moment. Admire in that Ferrari is right on the back of Wezo though, and he is going to want to get past as quickly as possible and start putting some space between himself and SF1 Phantom. We have Silence in the Alfa Romeo, having a little bit of an issue through turn 3. We won't go and check on him just yet. We'll stick with this battle here. Going through the castle section, not the greatest place to try a move, but I have seen people do it in any way. Braddles, obviously, that AI losing time the entire time. And so it won't be long before they get past that car, and Admire almost meets the wall there. Takes a very wide line out of there and does seem to get away with it. I don't see any warnings just yet. So for now, he manages to get away with that very close to the outside wall there. As you do have to be Bradley, not a problem at all. It is what it is. One of those situations where it was working when you joined, it isn't working now, and you've got load shedding. That's absolutely understandable. So these two are currently fighting it out. Wezo and Admire right next to each other, getting past Braddles as well. And this is a sprint to the line. It looks like Wezo does have a little bit more pace, but Admire in that slipstream, pulling alongside, going into the braking zone, and gets a little bit of a snap on the exit there. SF1 Phantom running a little bit of a quieter race in third, legitimate third place for now. Not quite pushing as far as he possibly could, but maybe just deciding he needs to take it easy, let the guys out in front burn through their tires, and he will get them later on. Speaking of tires, let's see what everyone has gone on. Oh, that was very close by Admire, pushing a little bit too hard out of the chicane, and now SF1 Phantom, pushing a little bit too hard out of turn 4. Yeah, that was turn 4. SF1 Phantom getting past him, and that puts him in a bad position for Just Moment as well, and Just Moment gets past as well. A little bit too much cut there. Yeah, he has gotten that track limits warning. So Admire having a couple of bad corners and immediately losing 2 positions. It's that easy to lose places around this track, Bigwood getting past the stricken AI of Braddles. So Admire down into 4th place. DRS Wezo out in front, trying to make some space. 2 seconds back to SF1 Phantom. If this were if this game were actually this year, they should be getting DRS now already rather than on this next lap. I don't know if this has been implemented in F1. I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, but in the junior formulas F2 and F3, they actually get that onboard is so loud. They actually get to use DRS 1 lap after the start. So from lap 2 instead of from lap 3, they are able to use DRS, and it's actually created some incredible racing. I think they looked at the fact that there are safety cars and so on all the time, and they decided that they wanted that DRS to be available as quickly as possible. Vaynant Burtis on the back of Chicken Wing just saw that he was incredibly close there, takes a wider exit out of that corner, which means he should get a slightly better traction out of there, but it looks like he got a little bit of a snap and has lost position to Killswitch in the Aston Martin, now on the back of Chicken Wing, and these three fighting it out for the final points paying position, that 10th place. So yeah, interesting to see these guys fighting it out this hard. The guys are further up the field, not quite fighting nearly as hard as these guys here, and Killswitch takes a much more aggressive line through that corner and has to stop up on the apex to try and avoid contact with Chicken Wing. Chicken Wing looked like a little bit of a defensive shake there, so a little bit concerned about the car behind him, trying to keep that position. But with the pace difference, I'm sure this is just a matter of time. Hopefully, Killswitch does manage to avoid any... Ooh, that was a bad chunk of lag. A whole bunch of people moving all over the place. That was very interesting, in fact. Killswitch now still running behind Chicken Wing. 11% damage on his front right wing. So not entirely sure what happened there. Shaking for the move just to let... Chicken Wing know that he is there, and yeah, Killswitch running a pretty intelligent race so far, except for the fact that he does have wing damage. Hopefully that didn't come from the AlphaTauri in front of him. Another massive lag spike there, and Braddle's dropping back. I'm not sure if this lag is part of the lobby or if it's just on my side, but Killswitch now pulls alongside Chicken Wing, and it looks like it looked like someone on the outside there. Chicken Wing braking a lot later, going way too deep, pulling back onto the racing line, and that has allowed Venant Burtis to get through, and that's allowed silence through on Killswitch as well. So that mistake by Chicken Wing, because Killswitch was running as close as he was, had to stop up on the apex and has lost a position. Meanwhile, up in front, Admire and Just Moment are having a battle there, and it looks like someone has spun. No, it's just a temporary yellow flag. Not entirely sure what happened there, but it looks like everyone is still alive. So Admire on the back of Just Moment, and it looks like he's got a lot more pace in that Ferrari than the Red Bull at the moment. Takes a very wide line through there as well. I'm sure he's going to be racking up. He's not actually. He's losing time. Oh, Venant Burtis going into the castle section and has had some sort of issue. I'll go check his wing shortly. Let's go check it now quickly. Venant Burtis, his wing is fine, so he should be fine to keep going. In the meantime, Admire on the back of Just Moment. I'm sure this is going to be a fairly easy pass with the DRS down this straight. And he does look like he's right up in the wheel tracks there, getting a good slipstream. DRS will be open now, and he just needs to coast his way past as SF1 Phantom gets past DRS Wezo as well. Admire gets past Moment, and let's see if they both get through the first corner, but Just Moment goes for the cutback. Not quite close enough to make it effective, and he will now get DRS down the second straight. So heading up towards turn number 3, looks like he can lose a little bit of time on the exit there, so he's not going to be close enough to go for a move just yet. But it looks like, who is that? DRS Wezo. Oh, that was a reset to track, so that's likely to be a fairly large penalty for DRS Wezo. That's really unfortunate for him. But yeah, going into the runoff and then resetting to track to get back in there. So he will actually net lose time from doing that reset to track. And that's exactly why we penalize it as we do, because you can gain a lot of time by doing that in certain situations, and that's not fair really to anyone. So it is illegal to reset to track, and it's a straight 30-second penalty if there is evidence of it. In the meantime, Killswitch still on the back of Chicken Wing once again through the castle section, having to slow down way early. Chicken Wing taking very poor lines through there, struggling with that AlphaTauri, and Killswitch having to back off in those moments as well. He will want to get past that AlphaTauri as soon as possible. I'm sure he's getting tired of that AlphaTauri wing, and he'll be having moments similar to Hamilton's nightmares of that AlphaTauri wing when Yuki Tsunoda was holding him up in so many situations a couple of years ago. Just Moment and Admire actually are right alongside each other. Just Moment getting past Admire braking later, almost contacting with the back of Just Moment, and these two will fight down the second straight once again. We'll keep an eye, Killswitch and Chicken Wing keeping an eye, as I said. Ooh, Chicken Wing pulling across towards Killswitch and almost trying to force him into the pit lane there. That is, I'm sure that will be investigated after the race. But Killswitch not being bullied out of that position, still alongside Chicken Wing, and oh, there is contact. Chicken Wing turning in on Killswitch. And Killswitch getting a little bit too happy on the accelerator to try and get ahead of Chicken Wing, and unfortunately, he's ended up right back where he started. So I'm sure there are going to be investigations into that conduct after the race. That was quite clear that Killswitch was alongside there. I'm not sure if he was alongside sufficiently, but he was definitely in the running there for space. So I'm sure that'll be investigated by the stewards after the race. So Admire right on the back of Just Moment. This battle continues on, and the two of them, that looked very close to the wall there by Just Moment, and hopefully he didn't actually contact the wall, just taking his wing. No, his wing is still fine, but Admire has so much more pace out of those corners and onto the straight. This should be a fairly easy pass once they get into the DRS zone. He doesn't want to pass too early, otherwise he'll give Moment DRS down the DRS straight. DRS zone now, and so he can switch on his ERS and try and get past that Red Bull as soon as possible. DRS is open as well, and there it is, pulls out to the inside of turn 1 and ahead as they go into the braking zone, but has to brake a little bit harder and loses the position a little bit to Just Moment, but then a much better exit out of there, carries a little bit more speed, and once again, Just Moment just carrying a little bit more, getting a little bit better acceleration out of there. It's so horrible. It looks like we don't have a choice on this, so Admire is still behind. And that was contact with the wall. And that is another reset to track that we have spotted on the stream. Admire, okay, it looks like he did hold up for quite a while there, so I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that, but that reset to track obviously will be a problem. Admire getting a 10% damage to his wing as well. Bigwood has made his way up into 4th position. He is on the hard tire, so that was a hard hit, and that is a chunk of wing gone on both sides of his front wing. So on the hard tires, I was going to say it looks like he's going to go for an alternate strategy, but those hard tires are so difficult to control, and unfortunately just a perfect example of that in that moment. Killswitch still stuck up there behind Chicken Wing, and I'm sure he is just as frustrated now as he was a couple of laps ago, especially after trying to get past, having that contact, both of them spinning out, and then ending up right back behind the AlphaTauri once again. I'm sure he is going to be wanting to get through as soon as possible. Just checking tire life on the two of them. They are at about the same tire life in general. They've also got pretty much the same damage. Okay, Chicken Wing's damage is a little bit worse, but Amir Scrappy has now crashed going through that fast section, and this is going to give a couple of people the opportunity to pit for better tires. So Amir looks like he just overcooked it out of that corner, went into the inside wall, and that's really unfortunate for him leaving the session. Absolutely understand that. Safety car is now out, so everyone behind the safety car, I'm sure, will be hopping into the pits. So from Silence back, I'm sure we'll see everyone in the pits, and especially those guys with damage. This is a perfect opportunity for them to get that damage repaired. Destroyer deciding to keep going. A couple of people have actually pit. So Destroyer has pit. Let's actually go have a look quickly. So Destroyer pit a couple of laps ago. Italian Legend pit a couple of laps ago, so he has fresh tires already. No Reason has pit a lap ago, so that's going to be quite interesting just in general. Chicken Wing going for a soft tire rather than a medium, so and the two of them released once again right on top of each other. Killswitch getting a snap of lag, and that puts him right back behind the AlphaTauri. He is going to be so sick of that wing before the end of the race. So a couple of people with a slightly fortuitous strategy. One of them being Italian Legend up in 6th position. If he can catch up a little bit to the guys out in front, 26 seconds at the moment. It looks like he is having to drive to a delta, which is unfortunate. I think that delta on his wheel is actually incorrect. It's saying 118 seconds, but it looks like he is having to slow down quite a lot more than that. But yeah, 26 seconds back at the moment, so the guys out in front will be able to pit without losing those positions. So these top 5 should all be able to pit without losing a position, and I'm sure they're going to do exactly that. SF1 Phantom comes in, and Pits Just Moment comes into pit as well. DRS Wezo comes in and gets rid of those old tires of his, and Admire is doing it as well. So all the top 5 deciding to pit as well. So Italian Legend is now the closest of the back runners to those top 5. He's not going to get there before they get out of the pits. So no loss for the top 5 with that pit stop. So yeah, quite fortuitous for them as well. The safety car coming out in such a way that they had the opportunity to pit, all of them deciding to pit. What tires was Bigfoot on before? I wonder if there's a way. No, I don't. It doesn't look like there's a way for me to check that. But yeah, Bigfoot on the medium tires. So a couple of different strategies out there. SF1 Phantom, obviously. SF1 Phantom, Just Moment, and Wezo. Or Brattle's getting. Oh, that is the AI, so we can safely ignore that. Admire, not a problem. As I said, we saw you stop on track to try and give back some of that time, so I'm sure the stewards will take that into account. I'm not entirely sure what the tire differential is on this track. I think it's fairly large, but I couldn't say for sure what the actual time is. Yeah, I don't have access to that sort of data, unfortunately, and it's especially difficult because, I mean, obviously different people, different skill levels and so on, it can be quite difficult to tell what's tire compound and what is actually. Ooh, that is Haas with no wing at the moment. Destroyer running 100% damage on his wing, and that's really unfortunate for him. Chicken wing moving almost for attacking moves there. I'm not 100% sure what the logic was there. But yeah, obviously behind the safety car you cannot pass, you're not allowed to pass. So these guys just need to catch up with the Crocodile. Currently Italian Legend on the back of that. Brattle's AI now coming to the back of it as well. Hopefully it will behave itself. Looks like it is. Yeah, it is behaving itself, so that's fine. Luckily it is ghosted, so hopefully it won't cause any problems for the drivers themselves. Venant has caught up. Silence has caught up. No Reason is on the straight, so he should catch up before the end of this lap. Ditto with the other 3. So other than maybe Destroyer, good evening Papa Smurf, welcome to the chat for the evening. So yeah, Destroyer is the only one that I don't think will catch up this lap. Why is it so loud? Yeah, Destroyer, the only person that I don't think will catch up this lap. So the safety car might come in just because of the fact that most people have caught up, but we'll obviously see what happens. To those of you that are watching that are racers, Chicken Wing has gone off into the runoff, so missing his braking point and going off into the runoff. I'm sure Killswitch will be more than happy to have taken that position. Yeah, that was perfectly legal. That you are not allowed to really stop on track if you can help it, and with Chicken Wing being completely off the track, he's not going to get penalized for that either. So Killswitch actually joined us as a reserve for this evening. Decided to start from the back so that he didn't get in anyone's way, and I'm sure he's regretting that decision right now. But he is now on the back of the Crocodile, just Chicken Wing and Destroyer left to go. Destroyer looks like he went into the runoff there. He is running the hard tires, so yeah, those things are going to be icy cold, and so not surprised to see him head into the runoff. So Chicken Wing and Destroyer, the last couple that we need to get to the back of the Crocodile. Chicken Wing almost putting it into the wall on those soft tires, so a little bit unusual that he's struggling so much with the soft tires, but it does look like there might be oh, and there is another lag spike. So oh no, okay. This is gonna be bad. So SF1 Phantom disqualified from the session, and I think that was a bug. I think that was the lobby bugging out, and the cars are being allowed past the safety cars. So we've had this before. They are going to have to go around, catch up to the safety car, and then it's going to come in next lap, assuming they manage to catch up. Hopefully no one goes through the safety car, expecting it not to really be solid, because it's definitely solid. I would, Italian Legend needs to be very careful. Okay, cool, he's gotten through. More people getting through that safety car. If you touch it, your car just obliterates itself. So everyone needs to be very careful around the safety car. There it is. That's exactly what I was expecting it to do. And kill switch in the Aston Martin, managing to not crash into the back of it. So very lucky there by kill switch. But SF1 Phantom, let's go to the race director. I think. Oh, not apparently. Oh, there we go. Incidents. Okay. Okay, cool. So we don't have any DSQs. Okay. So I think it said there was a DSQ. I don't think there is. Kill switch got past Braddles and gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. That's going to be unfortunate, but I'm sure he's gonna he'll be fine with that, considering he's managed to get ahead of the AI, which means he won't need to deal with that on the restart. But yeah, SF1 Phantom not disqualified from the session like I thought I saw a message say. But yeah, the EA servers are terrible tonight, and we're seeing that in the lobby itself. We've had a couple of situations like that where everyone just jumps all over the place and then jumps straight back to where they were. So yeah, it will be interesting to see if we do manage to get through to the end of this race without any sort of major issues. So the guys coming across the line one more time, they will then be picked up by the safety car once again, hopefully, and then the safety car at the end of this lap will announce that it's coming in again. And then they should be able to get racing again. Kill switch getting very close to the wall there. So yeah, in theory, there it is. The safety car has started to move. It has picked up SF1 Phantom again because everyone is all together and because it has been out for a couple of laps. What happened last time was that the safety car will go in at the end of this lap, although its lights did come back on just then. So hopefully it's not completely bugged out and we're stuck behind the safety car for the rest of the race. But at the moment, SF1 Phantom is leading, just moment in second, DRS Wezo in third, Bigwood in fourth, Admire in fifth. Then it's Italian Legend, Veynard Bortis, Silence, No Reason, and Killswitch, the top 10. Braddles, the AI, Chicken Wing, and then Destroyer, top 13, and Amir Scrappy, our one crash DNF so far. So yeah, not bad so far, other than the weird little glitches, Braddles and Chicken Wing swapping positions there. So the AI not liking how close Chicken Wing got to it and passive aggressively dropping the position and trying to give him a 5-second penalty. I'm sure that's what happened to everyone else as well. Yeah, the AI is not good under safety car with ghosting on. So yeah, let's see whether the safety car does exactly what I thought it would. I think Sector 3 starts at the bottom of the hill, so we will see very shortly whether the safety car is going to behave itself. Those spectators there. So I spun coming out of turn 14. I was facing straight against straight to the wall at a spectator, and he just freaking slow clapped at me. I was so annoyed. Anyway, so SF1 Phantom now the de facto safety car, and will lead the guys down towards the start-finish straight. We saw on Monday, I can't remember who was doing the safety car restarts, but going very early, actually out of this corner, practically going out straight out of this corner. We saw a couple of, we saw the run last night. The safety car restarts were right up against the start-finish line. So let's see what SF1 Phantom, it was Bubbles who started on Monday, actually went at about this point, if I recall correctly. I was wrong about being through the left left, right. Yeah, went at about that point, caught everyone kind of napping, and it was a great move, a great safety car restart. SF1 Phantom deciding to try and get his tires up to temperature. Those tires are not happy though. Those hard tires do not like coming up to temperature. Big Boot is going to be in a little bit of a better place. His tires are likely to be a little bit more up to temperature if he gets the space to be able to do that. And there is the restart. SF1 Phantom getting a decent restart, but just moment catching, not being caught napping. So he is going to be able to keep up. Looks like everyone is staying where they wanted to in the first place. Oh, a couple of spinners there. That is no reason. And Chicken Wing both spinning. Looked like they both spun on their own there, just getting a little bit too enthusiastic on the throttle going through the first corner, and now we have a race on our hands. So SF1 Phantom out in front, looking like he is going to be putting some distance between himself and everyone else. Just moment in second place, a second back already. DRS Wezo right on the back of him though, half a second, but he's got the Big Boot to worry about as well. Big Boot looks like he is doing quite a lot better already, and he does have those medium tires, so his tires will be up to temperature a lot quicker than anyone around him. Admire is right behind him on the hard tires, and we'll have Italian Legend to deal with. Italian Legend running those slightly older tires as well. Ooh, that looked like contact with the wall, but luckily this is not simulation damage, so he doesn't get floor damage from that little bit of contact, but he will lose a little bit of time. So Admire will have an opportunity to catch up a little bit more term, as we have a yellow flag. That is no reason coming out of the castle section. Looks like he's still moving, so not too much of a problem there. Chicken Wing does get past him though, but right on our screens, oh, that is contact between Admire and who was that? Big Boot. That is really unfortunate. Big Boot possibly braking a little bit earlier than Admire expected, and that is contact, and that is Admire stops on track to try and let Big Boot recover and possibly get back through, but that is unfortunate, and I'm sure that is once again going to be investigated by the stewards. Braddle's ignoring yellow flags, but again, that is the AI, so we can ignore that. So Admire not having a great race at the moment with that contact with Big Boot. Luckily, no damage to either of them, so I'm sure we'll see them climb through the field with a decent amount of pace. It does mean that they're not going to be able to fight at the top though, and that is really what we all want to see. In the meantime though, Wezo is on the back of Moment. No DRS of this lap, but will be enabled probably from the next lap if I've counted my laps right. Chicken Wing and No Reason fighting. Oh, they are both in the pits. No Reason going onto the soft tires, Chicken Wing going onto the hard tires. So divergent strategies once again. 12 laps to the end. No Reason is going to have to pit again, unfortunately. But DRS Wezo is looking much more comfortable in that McLaren than Just Moment in the Red Bull. And we saw that earlier when Admire was fighting Just Moment as well. No Reason going into the runoff at turn number 2. Now getting back underway. But DRS Wezo does look like he's quite a bit quicker than Moment, and Moment gets a bad exit out there, and Wezo pulls alongside. He is going to go for the unconventional pass through turn 15, but did Moment get a cutback there? It did look like he did pull a little bit of cutback, and he does have quite a bit more pace than Wezo going down the straight. No DRS this lap, as I said. It will only be enabled next lap, but it looks like it's going to be a move nevertheless by Just Moment. Gets past Wezo quite early on with no DRS, so I imagine he's burnt quite a bit of his ERS and starts the next lap ahead, but he is now going to have DRS Wezo right on top of him through this next DRS straight. Big Boot and Admire getting past Silence, so Silence dropping back. Ooh, a little bit of a lag spike there by Just Moment, and that gives Wezo enough space to try and get alongside, but not quite enough speed and not quite enough confidence on the brakes there, and so he falls back in behind there. Big Boot and Admire still making their way back up from when they crashed together, and it looks like they are starting to approach each other as well, so we might see more from that battle just now. But Wezo in third place is chasing down Just Moment, and let's see what he can do as they head into the castle section. You can gain so much time here, you can also lose so much time, especially with your brakes overheating. Oh, that is contact. between the two of them. Just moment crashing into the wall there. Luckily, very lightly, so no damage to him. And DRS Wezo managed to react to it quickly enough that he hasn't picked up any damage either. But that's really unfortunate for Just Moment. This pressure is definitely starting to get to him. And Wezo is starting to see some cracks forming in Moment's lines, and obviously with that contact with the wall he is going to be a little rattled, but DRS Wezo spins out as he comes out of turn 15, and that is really unfortunate. Smashes into the wall right in front of us, and that is really unfortunate for him. It was shaping up to be an incredible battle. Moment does actually have some damage. He does have 23% wing damage, so there did look like there was a little bit of a desync with the damage there as he went through the castle section. Has picked up some damage, and now it is pit stops once again. Italian Legend has decided to keep going, so not ready to come in for his stop. He'll probably be looking to go onto soft tires at the end. Big Boot getting a speeding fine penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So Italian Legend out in front, Admire in second, also deciding not to pit on those hard tires. SF1 Phantom, Just Moment, Vaynant Burtis, Kill Switch, Big Boot, and Braddles, the AI, are all coming in to pit. Silence trying to make the most of it with that 1 lap old hard tire, so he might actually be able to do something with this, but only in 7th place. Hasn't made up as many positions as I'm sure he would have wanted. Destroyer, Chicken Wing, and No Reason keeping positions at the back, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Hey there, Daniel. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, that was a big hit by Wezo, and right on screen. I didn't see if there was any contact with the car ahead. I don't think there was. I looked down at my telemetry as he managed to have that moment. I don't often see people coming out of 15 and having a problem over there. So yeah, that was a very odd crash, but one of those things. I think he may have just tried to push a little bit too hard to catch Just Moment, get a good exit out of there, and reap the rewards all the way down the start-finish straight. So Italian Legend out in front, but he has 10 lap old medium tires. He will definitely have to pit again with the tire degradation that we have seen over the past couple of races. It is a little bit warmer than we've seen in the past couple of races as well, so I'm sure we'll see Italian Legend come in for a pit stop at some point. Admire in second, 7 lap old hard tires. He might be able to extend all the way to the end, although it will be a push, it will be a difficult task. SF1 Phantom, brand new medium tires. Just Moment, brand new medium tires. Those two, I'm sure, are going to be nice and quick. Ven and Burtis, I don't think those tires are going to make it through to the end. The longest we've seen someone push these tires, I think 7 or 8 laps, and then they were running at about 60%. I think the person did run to about 9 laps, but that last lap they had all sorts of spins. Italian Legend going into the pits, deciding he does not want to stay on those old medium tires. Let's see what he's going to go onto, though. It looks like more mediums, so he obviously must have started on the soft tires. I think I do remember that, and so he is now going to take those tires to the end. They're going to be nice and fresh, and I'm sure that is going to be a better strategy than what he was running just now, but he might end up behind No Reason as he comes out. With the extra speed that he has, though, he might be able to pull a couple of positions fairly quickly. So out in the front we have Admire F1, then SF1 Phantom, Just Moment, Venom Burtis, Kill Switch, Silence, Big Boot, Braddles, Destroyer, Chicken Wing, No Reason, and finally Italian Legend on those fresh tires after that pit stop. Silence losing a couple of positions. I'm pretty sure that would have been one more of those lag spikes. I think the mediums lasted for, I think it was 12 to 14 laps. I think the hards will do sort of 16 to 18 laps, but they are so horrible around this track. I do not envy those guys that are having to go onto hard tires. It's so easy to lock up. It's so easy to lose temperature through them. And yeah, the castle section especially it's so quick to either spin up the rears and lose it there, or smash into the castle wall, like we've seen quite a few drivers do in the past. in turn 14, which is the one that we're coming up to now. This downhill braking zone with the bump just before it can be an absolute nightmare on the hard tires. So safety car in this lap. Everyone has managed to catch up to the Crocodile, and Admire will now take us away on this next safety car restart. SF1 Phantom decided to go quite late. Let's see what Admire does. I do believe he's gone incredibly early, and SF1 Phantom is caught entirely napping, and that means Just Moment is right on the back of him. I'm pretty sure we will have to investigate that safety car restart, because it did look like there was quite a bit of accelerating and braking. I'm sure we will see what happened there, but yeah, SF1 Phantom getting caught napping, Just Moment right on the back of him. But in the meantime, Big Boot and Killswitch fighting each other. Big Boot getting past Killswitch and getting down after. Who is that in head? It is Venant Burtis. Not quite close enough this time, but making a position up off the safety car restart. And good move there by Big Boot. I'm sure he's going to be wanting to get past that Mercedes as well as soon as possible. Actually, what Admire did was pretty good. We saw on Monday Bubbles actually made his restart work 100%. That restart strategy was absolutely perfect. Last night we saw going all the way to basically all the way to the line. It sort of works, but it depends on how much you can catch the guys behind napping. Generally, you want to leave as much as possible, and then as the person behind gets weaving as well, that's when you then go, because they'll have their wheel turned to the side. Ooh, no reason has retired from the session, so his race going from bad to worse, and retiring from the session. VSC is now out, so this is a virtual safety car, not a full safety car this time. So the guys will be able to follow each other around, and they will still get DRS on, I do believe it's the next lap. It looked like Just Moment was right on the back of SF1 Phantom, so he's going to be cursing this VSC. It means that he can't get past in the DRS zones. He's going to have to wait another lap before he tries to do that. Big Wood as well, right on the back of Venom Burtis, so that shows just how close they were when the VSC hit, and I'm sure we'll see. Oh, that's a little bit of an interesting spectator bug. If you switch between points of view while you're a spectator during the VSC, it no longer shows you their actual VSC delta time. So that was weird. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. Just Moment and Big Boot are going to be cursing this VSC because it looked like they were ready to pass the guys in front of them. And Just Moment actually losing time under the VSC. Killswitch dropping through the order. So Killswitch spinning through there. Hopefully there was no contact there that caused him to spin, but yeah, Killswitch losing a whole bunch of positions. Admire still out in front, so doing fairly well. SF1 Phantom in second. Just Moment has lost some time under the VSC, so not entirely sure what happened there. Green flag now out, and SF1 Phantom has gained a lot of time under the VSC, so using the VSC absolutely to his advantage, possibly getting it in the right sort of spots, and is now right on the back of Admire. DRS not enabled this lap, so I think it is going to be enabled next lap, and we'll see what they can do with it. Italian Legend getting past Chicken Wing at the back. He is making that climb on those medium tires, but he is going to start struggling a little bit once he gets to, I'd say, about Silence. He's going to start struggling, and Big Boot he's going to have a proper problem with if he does manage to catch up. But yeah, as I was saying, I think the best strat isn't really. Wezo crashed coming out of turn 15, got on the power a little bit too hard, and managed to spin it into the wall. Admire and SF1 Phantom looked like they might have had a little bit of contact there. And Admire dropping out of, ooh, that was a snap and a half by Just Moment, but Admire deciding to back out of that move as SF1 Phantom gets past him once again, but he is right on the back of him. If he can keep with him through the second sector and onto that back straight, he should be able to do something about it. But yeah, he does look like he's extending the track a lot further. He is on the hard tires, so he does need to do that in order to get the same sort of traction as SF1 Phantom. So although SF1 Phantom isn't extending the track nearly as far as Admire is, due to the tire difference, he is able to take those slightly leaner lines, those slightly more defensive lines, and that's one of the reasons that detecting cheating is so difficult. You'd look at this and you'd go, oh, why is he getting so much more traction out of the corners? Despite the fact that he's not taking as good lines, it's literally because he's got the better tires, he's got younger tires. Admire's tires are 11 lap old hard tires. Hard tires around here aren't great to begin with, a little bit of a touch on the wall there, and then as well as the fact that they are older than Phantoms, and you can definitely see it in the tire wear, in the amount of traction they get out of the corners, and SF1 Phantom is pulling away now, and Just Moment is now right on the back of Admire as well, 4 lap old medium tires, so he is going to be quite rapid in comparison. And Bigfoot has retired from the session. Is this another situation? It is indeed. Going through turns 16 and 17, I do believe they are, and unfortunately another situation like his one in quali. He did crash there in quali as well, so taking those corners just a little bit too quickly. Yeah, just one of those things. Bigfoot having retired from the session with damage. No safety car, no virtual safety car. I think the game has decided that we've had enough. Admire right on the back of Just Moment. Just Moment is through now, so he now needs to try and keep a hold of the back of that Red Bull as they go through the second sector, where the Red Bull is going to be so much more powerful because of that tire differential. It does look like Admire has also used quite a lot of ERS, that red light flashing for a moment there on the back of the car, so he is going to be using a lot of ERS. I'm sure Just Moment is going to be thrilled by that red light if he has heard about it, but the two of them following so close through the castle section, you can see how fiddly it is, how wide these cars are, and how narrow that little street is, and the guys getting through there at pretty much as much speed as they possibly can. Admire still right on the back of Just Moment, trying his best to keep a hold of that Red Bull and to keep within the 1 second gap that will give him DRS all the way down the pit, or down the actual pit straight itself. So still on the back there, 5/10 of a second, still within that second gap as they go through the quick left right where Bigfoot had his moment just now. DRS detection zone right there, 6/10 of a second, so he will get DRS down the straight. DRS will be open now, and now he needs to try and push. He doesn't have the ERS to fight it. SF1 Phantom getting a faster lap of the race, 143.470. Admire still 5/10 back from Just Moment, so I believe Just Moment probably burnt ERS down. Ooh, that was a very deep Mercedes, and I'm sure if Bigwood was still there, he would have taken that position. Unfortunately, not in the race anymore, so they're not getting away with that, and Destroyer catching up just a little bit. Admire 5/10 back from Just Moment, very late braking and having to understeer his way through there, and you could hear how long it took him to get back on the power, and that's the problem with understeer. You have to wait until the car turns before you can get back on the power, and you lose so much time there. 3/10 of a second there with that one tiny little mistake, just braking a little bit too late with the hard tires, the older hard tires. They will also be starting to lose some traction now as well, so those hard tires are going to start being even more of a problem than they have been already. And there it is. Okay, Destroyer has left the session, so not sure what happened there. He's still on track, so I think that is actually just a a connection issue for Destroyer. I'll go check if he's still around. Admire has now dropped out of that 1 second gap of Just Moment, but he does have a little bit of time to try and get back within it as they go through turn 15. Let's see what he can do coming out of that corner. Goes nice and wide, gets a decent exit, but still losing time down there. The tire differential just too much. Moment's tires looking fine at the moment, but he is going to start struggling on those tires now as well. So if Admire stays out, he might be able to take advantage of the dying hard tires of the guys in front of him, dying medium tires of the guys in front of him, but he is also running quite worn tires, so it's going to come to about the same sort of destroyer going into the pit. So that is obviously the AI doing that. So Destroyer, another invite sent. Hopefully he is able to get back in, but his car has gone into the pits. It's gone into the soft tires, 3 laps to go. So yeah, that's not going to be good for him. SF1 Phantom has checked out a little bit out in front, 2.6 seconds up at just moment, almost 2 seconds up from Admire now on those hard tires. He needs to get his head back on and just wait for Moment's tires to drop off. That they are going to drop off very shortly, I'm sure. If he hasn't started feeling it already, Destroyer rejoining, he's going to be I'm sure he's going to be quite miffed, ending up in 9th place with cold soft tires. But at least he might be able to challenge for the fastest lap. Venom Burtis, I'm actually quite surprised that he is still circulating around on those soft tires. His tires not looking so bad, I will admit. He should get all the way through to the end without risking a puncture. So yeah, a couple of different ideas on the right thing to do. Yeah, I would be most worried about Vanant and those tires, but SF1 Phantom out in front, just Moment in second, Admire in third, Vanant in fourth on those soft tires, Silence in fifth, Italian Legend in sixth with those slightly fresher mediums than the guys around him, not quite being able to catch up to Silence. Killswitch in seventh place, having had a whole number of moments. Braddles, the AI, in eighth. Chicken Wing currently in ninth place and without a front wing. And his tires are starting to cool down as well. Those hard tires are going to be really unhappy through here, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, he has a massive lift through there. You generally take that flat out. So yeah, Chicken Wing's car not happy with running without a wing, but he's not off to the left-hand side as if he's going to go into the pits. So that's a little weird. Maybe deciding he can deal with it for a lap or two. So, Destroyer is coming into the pits. That looks like he was ghosted there for a sec. 46% wing there as well. So I wonder if there was some sort of incident between a Destroyer and Chicken Wing when Destroyer rejoined. Not 100% sure, but yeah, a little bit weird that both of them have wing damage. Chicken Wing deciding to deal with it and keep circulating round. Destroyer deciding to go into the pits. 2 laps to go. Or 2 and a bit. Chicken Wing had struggling with that lack of front wing. I'm sure Destroyer will catch him. Soft tires, new front wing, versus a Formula 1 car with no wing. I'm sure he'll catch. So SF1 Phantom out in front, going down the pit straight for not the penultimate time, actually. It's third to last time. Just Moment in second place, Admire in third, 1.5 seconds back from Moment, and you can see he's starting to have a little bit more of an advantage again. Just Moment's tires are likely to be just about the same tire wear between Admire and a snap there by Admire. I think that was a real snap. He did lose some time, but yeah, just Moment's tires are starting to go off as well. Chicken Wing has retired from the session. I can't say I am surprised. Running with no wing around here with all the fiddly bits, it's surprising that he got as far as he did, but turned 14, claiming another victim. Not surprised with where he crashed out either. SF1 Phantom on the penultimate lap. Italian Legend making his way past Silence. Silence looks like he did have some sort of issue, and so Killswitch gets past as well. So Silence trying to fight him, trying to get that position back, pulls alongside, is just about close enough to get space, and was given space, just enough space to get through that corner. Well raced by Killswitch and Silence, not to have contact there, but Silence having to yield the position, go a little bit too slowly through the apex of that corner, and just it's so difficult. Ooh, that is a massive snap out of there, possibly pushing a little bit too hard. faced the wall for a moment and then managed to bring it back. So his tires might be a little bit cooked after that, but it looks like he is starting to get back underway and the tires back under control. Killswitch in 6th, Italian Legend in 5th, 2.8 seconds back from Venant Burtis. Venant Burtis on those soft tires, and they are screaming out in pain. He is going to have to go one more lap on those soft tires. I can say this because it's not gonna change anything. He has to just try and survive. He is on 69% on those rear tires. If he doesn't get, oh, you can see that rear left tire is not a happy chappy. So yeah, if he doesn't get a puncture, I will be quite surprised, but it's all on Italian Legend now. Italian Legend can theoretically catch up to him and has already caught up 3 or 4 tenths of a second. This is the last lap, so this is where it has to happen. Both of them with so little ERS left, but Italian Legend will have a little bit more in the tank because of that that tire differential, because of the fact that he's still got tires underneath him. He might be able to catch, especially through this next section. We'll see as he comes through here, and you can see how tense Vaynant has to be on the throttle because those rear tires are just not happy with him. They are now at 73%. He is doing incredibly well to keep that car facing in the right direction as we have Destroyer going down the pit straight in the shot there. And Italian Legend just needs to be patient. He just needs to wait. He doesn't need to get past right away. Just wait for the right moment. He will get better traction out of most of these corners, and if he times it right, here, there it is, the door will open and through Italian Legend goes with that alternate strategy, that late stop to go onto the medium tires. And you can see he's gotten his way up into 4th position, so that was definitely a good choice by Italian Legend. Good strategy to call there, but Killswitch is now on the back as well. SF1 Phantom crosses the line just moment, will be next, and Admired after a very long stint on those hard tires is going to be next. And Fernand Burtis has spun coming out of turn 15, and that is really unfortunate. It doesn't look like it's a puncture, but you can see the striations on those tires. They are that's a simulation of canvas right there. 81% tire wear. And does he get a... No, he doesn't get a Baku style blowout on the pit straight. So yeah, Venabutus making those tires last far longer than I expected. 82% wear at the end of that race. That was one heck of a run on those tires. Well done to Venant. But as you can see, just struggling through that final section there. Tires not popped just yet, but there we have it. And on the soft, Daniel, on the soft tires, with this game, anything over 70% and you risk a puncture, they can randomly puncture above 70%. So pushing up that far and you do sort of get into the territory where you're risking a random puncture, and that's why generally we don't do it. So the fact that he's at 82% on the softs, if he was on the hards, that's a little bit more sort of normal. I think the mediums you can push up to sort of, I think you can push a medium up to 75 before you start getting into blowout territory, and then obviously the hards you can push up to 80-85%. So yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a heart and mouth moment, I'm sure, for him. And yeah, good race all round to everyone involved. Obviously, who's that Destroyer having not the greatest time with the track. Yeah, just a whole bunch of small incidents, some of which probably shouldn't have been there. But yeah, not a bad race in general. A couple of retirements, generally in the same places as we've seen every other time. It's one of those tracks, it's got some very low traction zones, and it really does hurt a lot of people. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Daniel. Thank you for the comment about the commentary. It's been an absolute pleasure to host you all. And absolute pleasure to watch this race. Thank you, just before I forget, thank you so much to Farah for hosting, and especially because it meant that he couldn't race because EA is absolutely trash, and wouldn't allow him to play on his Steam account because his EA account was online, because that makes sense. To EA. So thank you so much to Farah for hosting. With my fiber down, I couldn't host with any sort of certainty that the race would go fine. So yeah, massive thanks to him. Massive thanks to all you guys in the chat. As usual, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'll check you all next week for the next race. Oh, one more thing before we go. We have linked the. Okay, I was leaving the session. Um, we have linked the YouTube and the Twitch, so we will be starting from this week to put up our videos on the YouTube. So yeah, to go check out the YouTube channel and for an archive of our races. Obviously, it will just be from this week onwards. But if you do miss a race, you can go check out the YouTube, and I'll put a link in the WhatsApp chat if you're part of that, and I'll try and update the links in the channel description as well. Anyway, thank you. I've waffled on long enough. We'll check you next time.